Yeah.
No. So after the machine's leveled on your point within tolerance, you're going to close down the menu that was on there and you just press PRG, which means program. It opens up a list of programs installed on the device. You're going to open this thing called magnet field. He's going to give it a second to start up.
This is where we couldn't get onto it, so it just didn't work.
It's just going to take a second. And it comes up on this menu. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out the pen so it's easier to type. I'm going to click on job. You see in the top left here it says what job you're on currently. This is one that I was just practicing on. I'm just going to click job, new job. Always create a new one when you start. You don't want to use someone else's data. So I'm just going to put this as some short description, so CBF11. Oh, put the F in there. James. Hit the tick. And then you can just hit the tick because, like, if you go through next, there's going to be a bunch of things you can change. You don't really need to bother with that. You just hit the tick up there, and it should be done. So there we go. Job name has changed. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Survey Topo. It's going to tell me the backsite's not been set. So I just hit close, and it's going to bring me into the menu where I put the backsite. The first option here is called the occupation point. That's basically telling the machine which station you're on. So I'm just going to give it a name. It can be any name. I'm just going to put OC1 for occupation point 1. There's never going to be another one in your exam, but just for the sake of it. Height is just the height from the bottom up to, I believe, this line on the machine. I'll just turn it around. This thing here. So you take the measure and you measure that. You input it into height, and then you go to backside point. You're going to have don't know what that is. You're going to have this thing called point. You just click on that and change it to azimuth. On the other machine, I think it has a different name where it says bearing or something. As long as you see the degrees, minutes, seconds, that's the correct one. So point and azimuth. So I just hit next. It's going to tell me occupation is not found. That's correct because I've not created it yet. Now it's going to prompt me to create it. So I'm not going to change the name or the code. What I am going to do is I'm going to change the local easting, northing elevation. What this basically does, it tells the machine in what 3D space your occupation point is. So it's like when you open it in CAD or Revit, whatever, it tells it, okay, this is where it is. For the machines, they've got a manual, and the default they tell you is to use 100 northing, 100 easting, 200 northing, and 50 elevation. So we're turning it 100 meters east, 200 north, 50 up. So that when you take your measurement points, they don't go below 0 on your thing, because it looks a bit weird. And then I just hit tick. That's created. Now it's going to come up into this prompt, and I'm ready to set my backside. So I'm going to take off the lid here, and I'm going to turn on the laser. The way you do that is just hit star, and you got this button to turn it on and off. I think that's on, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it's on right now. Pop the cap somewhere safe. And so for your backside, you'd choose a point that normally wouldn't move. When I was doing my survey, I chose a very specific nail in a corner of the thing. It doesn't matter too much in your exam, because they're not going to check what you use as your point that much, but it is just general idea, something that doesn't move. So I'm going to use the corner of the room there, just quick. So I'm just going to get the laser on there, and just point. I'm going to use the lens just to focus it. Perfect. So now that's all good. I'm just going to close this menu again, and then I'm just going to hit on this. I'm just going to hit set. So now that's telling the machine where my backsite is. Store the measured backsite, yes. And here it tells me all of the information of the backsite, local easting, and I'm just going to change it to BS 100 as the default one, or 01, doesn't matter. And what you can do next, if you hit PRG and you go to, I believe, observe, it comes up with this menu of all your measurements. If you go to, this could be on this one on default. If you click on SHV dist, that just tells you distances and thing. And on your sheet, you need to write down for every point that you take. So for the backside, I would write point number BS 100. Horizontal angle should be this one, I believe. The one at the bottom, so horizontal angle, 0 degrees. Vertical angle is a Z angle, so that's 83.26 degrees. Go in there. Horizontal distance, HD, 3.5 meters. Remarks, backside, pretty much. And then just go back into PRG. Yep, tick, all good. This should come up, basically telling you confirmation of all your details. Yep, that's all right. Just close that. And now it's going to bring you into this menu where you can do all your points. So if when you're measuring a point, you'll be on this menu. If it's here, just click on Survey Topo, and it brings you to the correct menu. Change your point code. You can start 100, or you could just change it to 001. I'll just leave it as 100 as the default. Code. Basically, this code is telling the machine what you're measuring. The default that you would use is building line, because it just like connects all the dots within this code sort of thing. But if you want to get in more detail, you can change it to stuff like wall down here, window. I used it in my one, but it's not really necessary. It just changes it on the list just for a bit more detail. So I'm going to go on building line, and I'm going to tell it that this is building line. If I want to go detailed, I can tell it it's the north wall, for example. I don't know if that is north, but I'm just going N wall. Just to tell the machine that this is the north wall, that one there that I'm measuring. And I'm going to change this from line point to rectangle. And in the notes, I can add a bit extra. So I'm going to do the bottom left corner first. So I can put just like an abbreviation, BL, or bottom left if you want. And in your notes on here, I would write the same, just to keep track of what you're recording. Because for the rectangle, you only need to record 3 lines. So I'm just going to go in the bottom left corner of the room, just above the crowning, I think that's called. So just on there, I'm going to get like a rough thing. I'm not going to get it super detailed, just so you can see. And now I've got it on the right point. I've got my notes in. I'm just going to hit this button on the left, not the one on the right. So that button is to take a measurement without saving it, so that you can go and edit anything you need to. Like if you realize you used the wrong code by writing it down, you can be like, oh, I'm going to quickly change that. And if you hit PRG again, you can switch back to this menu, and it has all your measurements that you need to be writing down. Always write them down after every one, and then just pop back in, hit save. So now it's automatically updated it to 101. I'm going to move it to do the top left corner instead of the bottom left. Yeah, so I'm just going to change the note in here to TL. You don't have to, but I find it really useful when I'm going back later. And I'm just going to write in here, point 101 TL, so top left. When you're doing rectangle, always do it in like either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Never cross things. You have to do it in like a circular motion, or else the computer doesn't really understand what you're doing. So if you start there, you go around that way, or you go around that way. So I'm doing top left now. I'm just going to hit, first I need to change this back to rectangle. So it automatically changes it to line point every time and resets it. Just change it back to rectangle.
Can we just stop slowly again?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure where I left off, I was just changing this back to rectangle, because after every point, it changes it to line point automatically. So just rectangle, you click this button here to take the measurement, and then you can check it to right, and then you hop into here, write everything down, write your notes, and then pop back in, save. Now I'm doing the top right point, so I'm just going to move it over there real quick. Just a little bit. There we go, that looks about right. Obviously, you pay more attention in the actual exam. And I'm just going to change this back to rectangle, change this to top right, so TR, just quick abbreviation, hit measure. While it's measuring, just write your quick notes like point number, remarks, whatever, and you hop into here, take your measurements, horizontal angle, boom, vertical angle, there it is, horizontal distance, there it is. Then you just hit save. And now I've done 3 points on one code, so this code here. I've done 3 points, that's the north wall, I've called it. As long as all 3 of those points are in rectangle mode, I don't need to do anything else. I'll just change the building line, so instead of north, I can do like east wall. And then I just start again, doing that, so I'd say top left. Because even though it's on the same point for this wall, I would still take another measurement, just to say like it's connected that way. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the end of it.
Yep.
Alright, so exporting, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open the side and plug in the USB. Just quickly check the orientation. Yeah, this way around. Pop it in there, there it is. Perfect. Just close that up, and I'm just going to hit to exchange, so exchange information, to file. There's got 2 different formats you need to export as. The first one in here is AutoCAD. The default just could be whatever was there last time. So just AutoCAD, next. It should be in removable disk here already. If it's not, you press this button to head to the they're like the root folder, and then just find removable disk. That's where you go. You can create a folder for yourself. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it James, my name. When you're doing your exam, I will do the same, just to keep them all in the same place. So a new folder called James. There we go. I'm in there. You can see from the directory. And the name, I'm just going to keep it the same as the job name. Just going to hit next, hit the tick, and I'm just going to write it. There we go. That's the AutoCAD CAD file exported. You also need to do a CSV file. So I'm just going to go back in here, AutoCAD drawing, change it to top context custom. Yeah, I'll quickly do this work for you. I'll just turn laser off real quick, just it's not in the way. So top context custom, that's the one you want to choose, .csv. And then you don't need to change anything in here. Don't need to change anything. Same place, remember this James, tick. Make sure it's selected on comma. That's just basically telling it what you're using to separate it. This you can change if you want, but it's fine keeping it default. And then hit next, hit the tick. There we go, export finished, and you're done. That's all you need to do.